Okay, everyone, welcome to another creator interview on That CNFT Show. My name's Alex, and today I'm very excited to be joined by Raul from Jurassic Chain. Thank you very much for joining me, Raul. How are you today?
Thanks to you for having me here. I'm great, and it's an honor to be here to expose this project.
Yeah, you guys have been on my radar for a couple of weeks, so I'm happy to have you on. Why don't you start telling me about where some of your ideas for this project came from and how you got off the ground?
Okay, yeah. So I was working with a friend of mine on on-chain NFTs. So I am a developer. That's what I do in my daily life. And at the beginning, it was just a single dinosaur, like really he just moved and that's it. No background, no movements around. And we started experimenting. Like, okay, what if we change the color of the background? What if we move the dinosaur around? And what if we could actually say something? And that's how the idea started to get a form of the final form that is the one that has now. And we decided, okay, let's see how many dinosaurs we can make, how many species, and so on. And this is how everything started, like a fun game with my friends.
That's awesome. Well, and I've noticed, um, obviously, it's on a lot of your posts, it's on a lot of your sort of marketing materials. Why was it important to you to build something that's completely on chain?
Okay, yeah. As you know, mostly of NFTs are hosting their JPEG, their videos, and so on hosting services like IPFS. That's the standard.
Mm-hmm.
And but sometimes those hostings can have overload or some faults, and for that reason, maybe one day you cannot see that NFT. It has already happened in the past with the Cardano one day. But if your NFTs are on chain, they will be always available. The only condition to not be available is that Cardano is turned off. So that's great. It means that your NFT is relying on Cardano, not in a third-party service.
Right, and not that centralized repository of where all that stuff is, right?
Yeah, actually, IPFS is decentralized, so it's okay that, but it's adding a second layer to
Mm-hmm.
the NFT, and that could be an issue one day. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so what were some of the challenges to fit? Because, like you said, if you started out pretty simple, it's not really that simple anymore. Now they move around and they have different calls and stuff. So how did you change? How did you develop the idea from something so simple to what you've got today, which is kind of complex for what you cram into 16 kilobits, right?
Yeah. So 16 kilobytes, it's really a challenge because your file has to be included in the metadata transaction, okay? And you have just 16 kilobytes. But you cannot use all these 16 kilobytes for your NFT because you have to add additional information to the metadata. So you really have something like 12 kilobytes, and that's even lower, okay? And yeah, so our challenge basically was mostly having the most compression possible. So for instance, we don't you can write the colors in the code like yellow, brown, and so on, but we write in a hexadecimal value, so it's shorter. And everything that we could make shorter, like a little space, we deleted, and everything should be fine. We checked every metadata in the final result, and the mammoth was the one bigger one, the biggest one.
Okay. And why was that? Just because it had a lot of variables building into it?
He had many colors actually, because
Okay.
he has the main color, the fur, you know. Also, and it's kind of bigger, and and you color every pixel in our coding style. So more pixel you have, so bigger the dinosaur, bigger the code.
Oh, that's fascinating. And so, of your 20 species, do you have one or two favorites that stood out, either because of the way they turned out or because of the way you worked on them when you were developing them?
Yeah. Maybe I can show some of them.
Yeah, of course. And I'll let everyone know that some of these are up in your Discord and your Twitter, and I'll put links to those in the show description when I put this up on YouTube. But if you'd like to show us some, I'd love to see that too.
Okay.
There we go.
So he is probably one of my favorite, the Brontosaur, because he is one of the few dinosaurs that have three frames. Okay, so you see he turn his neck, and then
Yeah.
and as I told you, when I press it, he said his dino call. In this case, it's Munch.
That's hilarious. That's so good. I love the calls. I was looking at some of the calls. Now explain the rarity of the dino calls, because I noticed that in your Discord as well.
Yeah. So we decided to give different rarities. The first rarity is about the species. So there are some species that are more common than others. For instance, nobody has minted a T-Rex or a dinosaur egg so far. They are still not discovered. And the second rarity that we choose was the dino call. Okay, some of them are of course created by us, because we were wondering how was the dino call of the Brontosaur, and we say no, this is not correct. I think that he was more the kind of dinosaur that say this. And for instance, the rarest dino call of the Brontosaur is yo yo yo, because it looks like he's rapping.
Yeah, it kind of does, eh? Oh, that's hilarious. So you mentioned T-Rex obviously is going to be a valuable one that people are going to want, but tell me about the dinosaur eggs, because I found that really interesting too, what you guys are doing with those.
Yeah. We wanted to create like a treasure hunt for our community. And what we basically do is, when you find an egg, you should collect 10 eggs by yourself or putting them together with other members of the community, and you will be rewarded with 500 EDA, split according to the amount of eggs that you collected. And this is how we want to reward our community for hunting and playing with us.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. So basically, if me and a buddy have 5 each, we get 250 ADA each, etc.
Yes, correct.
That's a really cool idea. Now, the other thing that you mentioned, or actually maybe I saw this in Discord, when you have colors in the background, what is the likelihood that you get an invisible dinosaur?
Yeah, you're right. So as you see, for instance, here we have, oh, wait, I pressed the link. Okay, so if you see here, we have the color of the background in a hexadecimal value, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also the skin, and here we have the underskin also.
So his green and his red underbelly.
Yes, that's right. And when they are created, each of these property has 16 million of possibilities. So it is really unlikable that you get two traits like the same background and the same skin color. It's like really rare that event happens. Okay, we didn't set it by our own. It's random, the colors. So if you get a invisible dinosaur, and we saw some of them around when we were testing, those are really, really rare ones.
And so what'll that look like with guys that have, like this guy, if his background was the same color as his skin color, you would just see his belly and his eyeball moving around, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Exactly.
that's hilarious. And that kind of makes more sense with some of the, some of the smaller dinos that might hide in the bush or be sneaking around and not to be caught by the big guys. But that's even funnier when if it's a big T-Rex or if it's a big Brontosaurus, right?
Yeah, yeah. It should be really dangerous, an invisible T-Rex, you know?
Yeah, sneaking up on everybody. Now, one other thing I wanted to ask about was, I don't know how much you want to tell us about it, but it looks like you've teased moving them around in like a town or a city or a space like that. Are you thinking of combining these somehow later?
Yeah, okay. So what we were wondering is, okay, what can we do with these NFTs? And we are testing now and building a Jurassic wallet. Okay, so
Okay.
it's in this way you can actually see your dinosaurs in a sort of park. Okay, it's like we want to have a ranking of let's say the most the one that had most species, or the one that has most dinosaurs, and you will be able to share the link of your park to your friends and everyone you want to flex your dinos.
And that's going to be hosted on your website as well eventually.
Yeah, that's gonna be hosted on the website, but all the information are going to be collected by the blockchain.
That's really fun too. What have you guys got going on in your Discord right now as you're in this kind of minting phase?
Okay, so in this moment, people are starting to ask, what about rarity, or what are you going to do? And it's kind of nice because people are really loving their dinosaurs. Okay, we already have almost 200 dinosaurs around, but if you see on the secondary market, there are really few available. Okay, people are keeping them. They want to keep them and feed them.
Yeah, it's a really cool, especially with the aesthetic. It kind of reminds me of like having a Tamagotchi 20 years ago, where it's just this little 8-bit thing, but they're
Yeah.
cute and they move around and they have little calls. So I could see that there's going to be good retention for you guys because I can see how people, and I read the same comments in Discord as well. I saw some people saying, "Oh, thank you, he's so cute. I love him." It's a really good way to build attachment to your NFTs because they seem to come alive.
Yeah. And also their movements are completely random. So it's not, a GIF that keeps doing the same path. Every time the step that the dinosaurs makes is unpredictable.
Do they ever, and did you bound that to a certain, say, box on the screen, or can they go anywhere? Like, might they wander off the edge of your view when you're looking at them?
This is actually a real cool question, because what we did is that dinosaurs that that can't fly or that can't swim are bounded in the half top of the screen. But the ones that can swim or fly, they can move all around the screen.
Interesting. So did that add another layer? I guess that's one of the ways you would have run up against that 12 kilobyte limit. You could do that with some and not with others. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Interesting. And so are these movements, I might be getting a bit ahead of what you want to announce, but when you have your Jurassic wallet and you can put your own dinosaurs on display, are their movements going to be overlaid on something that you guys have set up, like a pen or like a habitat, or is it just going to be a similar experience to watching them in your, like we said on Pool PM or whatever now.
Oh, okay, yes. So now what we would like to do is create an habitat for each one. So Froggy, that is our artist, wants to make, for instance, a big lake for the Plesiosaurus, that is the Loch Ness one.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to create, let's say, a cool area for everyone. And so it will be cooler to see them there.
Yeah, because I saw the little preview that you had where there was just kind of a couple of fences bounded around, almost looking like paths for them. And I like that you're working within the same aesthetic, even though it might be tempting to make something a little bit more complex and a little bit more, I like that it doesn't look like a Poke Center. It looks like it looks like what you would think Jurassic Park for Game Boy looked like 25 or 30 years ago, right? So I really appreciate that too.
Yeah, that's right. Also, we don't want to be the cages, because they are free to stay there and everything. But we want to make sure that T-Rex that don't eat everyone there.
That's right. That's right. Okay, that's all my questions for now. Do you have anything that you wanted to anything else that you wanted to bring up about the project between now and your next steps?
Yeah. So what we are working in the backstage now is, first of all, having a website fully functional where you can actually connect your wallet to display your dinosaurs, and having a bit of the team information on the website, because so far you can find all the information regarding the team in the Discord, but I think it's more transparent if you can find it also in the website. And after that, we want to implement and keep evolving that Jurassic wallet animation, because we are still thinking, how many dinosaurs should we allow to be there? Should you get one every time you add one of the same species? Because of course you don't want to have your Jurassic wallet too crowded. So all these things are probably going to be asked to the community and see how they respond to this.
That's good too, because I know that it's much more engaging when you ask the community what they want to see, rather than making those decisions all by yourself. And it's easier than making every decision by yourself, right?
That's right. For experience, I know that if you make a decision by your own and don't ask to the community, sometimes they can even feel bad because you didn't ask.
That's good that you're doing that. I'm going to check out your Discord more and more. So Raul, thank you very much for joining me. We're going to wrap things up. I am very fascinated by the things you've done with this project, and I hope with some community guidance that you get to bring everything that you're talking about to life, because like we talked about earlier, they're really super cute. They're cool to have in your wallet, and I'm looking forward to some of the ways in which we're going to be able to show these things off.
Thanks a lot for having here me, and see you around.
Thanks very much, Raul.
Permit, I think that you should allow me.
Let me see. I can edit this part out if I have to.